So tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are and what you did.
So my name is Edwin Hubble. I look to study things, celestial bodies that were outside of this galaxy. So I started with what was known as the Andromeda Nebula, and then I moved to which is now known as the Andromeda Galaxy. But then I moved to other bodies.
Okay, so what were you trying to find, or what was your reason behind this?
So my primary objective was to discover what a nebula was. There were lots of theories going around back in the day, but there was no conclusive evidence to prove any one of them. So that's where my work began. And then I worked to just discover what else was out there. What else was in our universe outside of our galaxy.
Okay, so where were you at when you were working on this?
So the majority of my work occurred in Yerkes Observatory, which is near Chicago. But later I moved to Mount Wilson, California, where I used the 100-inch telescope. It was the largest of its time.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about what was happening around this time?
So, most of my work occurred in the 1920s. So it was a pretty eventful time. First World War had just ended. Our economy was booming. The 19th Amendment was just passed. Ford Motor Company was founded, and the teaching of evolution was banned in schools, but one guy did it, and now he's on trial for it.
Okay, so who else was involved in your project?
So there wasn't really anyone directly involved with my project. That being said, I don't want to say that other people did not contribute to my project. Various other scientists were conducting studies that were relevant to my project and helped me in determining my outcomes. So one such person was Henrietta Leavitt. She proved that there was a relationship between luminosity and Cepheids. I later used this relationship to determine the distance between us and the Andromeda Galaxy. Another scientist whose work contributed to my studies was Vestos Slifer. He discovered that the Andromeda Galaxy was actually moving toward us, and later also discovered that various other galaxies were moving away from us. This greatly contributed to proving that the universe is expanding. That it's not some finite space.
Okay, so you said there wasn't really anybody else working on your project with you. So what was your role? Did you do everything by yourself, or?
So I don't want to say that other people didn't impact my studies, but I did do the majority of the work myself. Other scientists and such impacted my work through their own studies, but when it came down to doing the work for my project, it was me. I was the only one who directly contributed to my work.
Okay, so what kind of impact would you say that your project had on the physics community?
I would say that my work had a great impact on the community. Well, first I found that there were other galaxies in existence. It wasn't just the Milky Way galaxy and then nothing there. I proved that there were not only many galaxies, but that the universe itself was expanding, not just one static entity. This was huge in changing people's outlook on the universe. I also discovered a constant, now known as Hubble's constant. It was 500 kilometers per second per megaparsec. It has to do largely with some measurements about celestial beings, or entities, not beings. But my research also greatly contributed in proving Albert Einstein's theory of relativity.
Okay. So, what else did you do during your lifetime? What other accomplishments do you have?
So I'd like to think I led a fairly eventful life. You know, I had a degree in law. I was actually an amateur boxer. I got offered to go professional one time, but I turned it down. I'd rather focus on my studies. And in 1906, I also set a high jump state record. That was at 5 feet and 8.5 inches. I felt pretty accomplished about that. Yeah.
Well, thank you. This interview has been enlightening.